Welcome to the first of Check the Anime Tape with Coach Biggles. My name is Biggles Metz. We will be breaking down sports because one thing I loved doing when I played sports was breaking down the game film. So we're going to do that about animes. Keijo is the first sports anime that we will be covering, as voted on by my chat in our Monday show, The Biggles Breakdown. I have no idea what this sports is. The only time I've ever seen or heard of it was in some sloppy isekai that I don't even remember the name of. After looking it up, I found out that it was a fictional women's contact sport where they fight using their boobs and butts, trying to knock them off a land and fall into the pool. Please put the next sports anime you want me to cover in the comment section. We will go over the sport in the anime, if it teaches you the sport when you're watching, the training involved, the athletes, and the realism. And finally, how it is as an anime. If this sounds good to you, subscribe for the next ones as well. Let's jump into the show and see if it teaches us anything of how it works, and if this is a solid sports anime. Even if the sport is made up, the first episode did a very good job of giving you the very basics of the show, so you won't need to know anything about going into it. Let's go to the tape.
Keijo. Players compete to be the last girl standing atop a floating platform called a land. The kicker? They can only use their boobs and butts.
Let's talk about the sport of Keijo. There are different types of lands. The lands are what they fight on above the pool. Each of these have their own challenges. There's one where there's a jungle gym, there's one where they're on a plane, there's one where they're fighting on a castle, there's one where they're fighting on a seesaw. So it makes the sport different depending on the type of land they compete on. The game itself can either be a battle royale or a team battle, where you need to knock out or knock off other competitors to win. There are three types of Keijo players. We have the infighters, the outfighters, and the counters. Your infighters are your close combat and rely more on power than speed. Your outfighters are the opposite. They rely on range and speed. Counters are just as they say, they rely on countering opponents' moves. What kind of training do I think this sport would need? Well, based on the sport, the training for this sport would most likely be lower body, squats, lunges, cardio, and anything that can help you gain balance because you won't want to fall off the land. How do they train for this show? Training is intense. To build stamina, they do sprints while dragging tires, they run laps, they do pull ups, squats, and sit ups. They also do goofy stuff like running on their butt, shaking their butt in figure eights, butt punches, and even pulling turnips with their butt. That is an ecchi anime for you. They go to training camps where they're taught by pros. They get specialized suits that looks like it helps them with flexibility and builds muscle mass. I actually think the training they're doing, even though it's weird butt workouts, works. Why? Because that's what their sport is, using their butt and boobs to knock their opponents off the land. Stamina and core strength are hugely important for this sport. Let's talk about the athletes. The athletes of this sport are very high level athletes. Their athleticism is kind of crazy. They are flexible and highly competitive. They use acrobatics to pull off their moves. They are extremely quick and have lots of strength. I would say compared to other sports, they would be near the top most athletic of all athletes. Since this is not a real sport, it is kind of hard to base the realism paired to real life. However, excluding the fact that no one's body can move the way that they do when they're doing the fights in the show, it does still feel real. Whether it's the competitive nature of the girls or the training to get better, it still has you feel like the way people would do if they were playing in a sport. Now let's talk about the anime itself. I think the characters are a lot of fun in this one. Like Abo, she has this power to use her right hand to scan anytime she touches someone. She can learn everything about them, and she even uses those moves to fight other people in the final match. Then we have our two main girls, Miyata and Kaminashi. They are also great. Kaminashi is your typical sports anime pro tag, always learning, always getting better. They're also very carefree and they're determined to be the best. Where Miyata is a former judo star who fell in love with Keijo and is constantly improving to defeat others. She plays as a friend and a rival to Kaminashi. Overall, the story is a very much sports anime, inspiring athlete, joins a school, plays for the school. There's a training arc, and then there's the big match. The story is nothing out of this world, but it's a lot of fun to experience and watch. The animation is good. You wouldn't expect this from an ecchi sports anime, but if a lot of other shows got this kind of animation, they would be a lot better in my opinion. I surprisingly think this is a very good show based on the characters, the animation, and the entertainment value. And it doesn't really have much to do with the fan service in the show. I just think it is a lot of fun to watch. Thanks for watching. Like I said before, please put in what sports anime you want me to cover next in the comments. That way this can be an interactive series with the chat and the comment section. Make sure to subscribe for the next one. Bye.